Hello, Texans. I'm Susana, and this is the Susana Gibb Show. I just want to welcome you to our show where I get to fangirl over people I've admired from afar, but not in a creepy way. And today, I am totally guilty of that. Chef Nikky of Asian Mint is on the podcast with me. We actually recorded this podcast from the beautiful city of Savannah because it had been on the books for 5 months, and there was no way I was rescheduling. Chef Nikky is a culinary powerhouse with 5 amazing locations, a brand new cookbook, and she wears all the hats: chef, creator, businesswoman, innovator, and a mom. And let me tell you, after about 5 minutes with her, I was like, I just want to be her best friend. We had this amazing discussion about barbecue joints after we stopped the podcast, and now I just want to go have barbecue with her. She's just one of those people that are instantly likable, and I'm excited for you to get to know her too and perhaps be inspired by her and her journey and all the things that she has going on. In honor of our podcast, I'm having this delicious Thai iced tea, even though it's going to keep me up tonight and make my husband crazy because I'm going to ask him questions like, I don't know, why? Why does the Flintstone cereal even exist anymore? And what happened to the Jetsons? And why are there no flying cars? And is Alexa based on one of the robots? And anyway, I probably should just put this down. Before we get to the podcast, I just want to do a quick word from our sponsor, Gibb Insurance Services. Now, we know insurance isn't the most exciting thing in the world unless you're really into paperwork. But with Gibb Insurance Services, it's easier than Chef Nikky's pad thai. Because while we can't stop life from throwing curveballs at you, we can teach you how to catch them or treat the black eye it left. Gibb Insurance Services, protecting your piece of Texas, one policy at a time. Oh, I just can't stop. And now, my fellow Texans and Texans at heart, hopefully you have your own beverage because we are on with the show.
Well, thank you so much for being with us. Tell everybody who you are and what you do.
Awesome. Well, I'm Nikky, and I'm so honored to be here today. I am a chef, owner, creator of Asian Mint Restaurant here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Been doing it for over 20 years, and I love what I do because I know that my calling and my passion is truly to inspire others through food, culture, and travel.
I can't even believe it's been 20 years. That's so crazy to me.
If you have 2, which is a good thing, right?
Yes.
We'll just cut off the 0.
Just cut off the 0, right? And so you have 4 restaurants in Dallas, right?
5 now, 5 locations.
That's so great.
Yeah, we did one, in 2022, late 2022, like during Thanksgiving. That's where we sit.
Is opening a restaurant kind of like having a baby?
Yes, that's literally what I call them. I have a total of 7 children, and 2 of them are real. And one of them's turning 20.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's had to have been a juggle.
Yes.
With the babies, right? How do you balance that as a mom and a chef and a businesswoman?
Yeah, I love that question. So definitely it takes a village, right? Real kids, restaurant kids. And through that, I've learned when I opened my second location, surprise, surprise, I found out that I was pregnant. So I think it was meant to tell me that, hey, you need to find people to help you run this restaurant because you're about to have a child, like a real one. Yeah. And it was unexpected in a great way, of course. And he's now already 15, my real child. I'm going to have to start calling him separately now. This is going to be...
Yeah, right?
And with that, I've learned to really figure out how to balance it all. And, it is a constant juggle every day. It is not something like once you figure it out, okay, it's done. It is ever changing, and you need to pretty much make sure that you can continue to lean on the people that you trust and depend on. They're all like family, and we all love these children together, and we want to see them grow and not fail. And it truly does take a village.
So do you feel like, because of course, if you're not, I mean, do you consider, because I know you, all right, let me just back up. I have too many questions wanting to come out at one time. I want to hear about your newest baby. I don't know if you call it that, but I have to think that writing your new cookbook was a labor of love for sure.
Absolutely. It is. It is, oh my goodness, launching October 1st. And I still haven't been able to wrap my brain around it. Literally been traveling everywhere and anywhere with it. And it is my newest baby. And it needs a lot of love, a lot of attention. And again, it takes a village. It takes a lot of people to also love on it. I can't thank all my, we call them my mint fanatics or my soul foodies, enough for supporting this journey and pre-ordering my book. I mean, we sold a lot on Amazon during our pre-launch.
Oh, that's
just
so
still
great.
continue. Yeah. And with that, like, we became like #1 in like the Thai best cookbooks, Thai travel books. And that was also for me like a sign to say, hey, you know what? This is the right thing. This is, there are people who are excited about it. They want to get their hands on it. And it's just kind of, it's been an amazing ride and a great fun project to do.
What made you think, you know what? I've got 5 restaurants. I've got 2 children. You know what I should add to that? Let's just add a book on top of everything.
I am a visionary. I love to create. That's one of my downfalls in a way, but also a great thing. Out of my whole team, I'm like the only visionary. Everyone else are like implementers. And yeah, don't make me try to implement something. I don't know if it's going to happen or not.
Right.
But I will come up with really fun ideas, and they kind of tell me like, you know what? That sounds like fun. That's doable. Let's do it. And the restaurants, I have an amazing team. I can't, again, thank them enough for making what Asian Mint is today. I do try to stay out of the operation as much as possible so that they can grow. And every time we grow a location, it's because of, I call them my people, you know, my mentees. And they need a place to grow. And to be able to grow, they need to go and potentially start a location and, you know, soup to nuts, everything, and learn everything. And it honestly is so fulfilling to watch them do that and kind of just like be their little mentor and support them on the way. And again, with the cookbook itself, I think it's the same thing. They're supporting me in this situation. So it's kind of like really like full circle. Really, really awesome.
So we are huge fans of yours. We love your food. It tastes so good. And I never feel bad after I eat it, right? Which I think is a testament to the freshness and the quality of food that you prepare. But it is a testament, I think, to you, because we do love all of your staff too. We got into this giant discussion with the bartender, the manager, the chef one night about kaffir limes and kaffir lime trees. And it was so fun. And we just, after we left, we were like, they were so knowledgeable. They were so friendly, which to be able to have conversations with people who are so conscientious and care so much about the brand and the food, we're just, sorry, I fangirled on you for a moment, but
I love that. Thank you. Well,
yeah.
Definitely they're going to have to listen to this, because every time a mint fanatic like yourself will compliment the team, I make sure that they know it. My love language is word of affirmation, and I love to share that. And they love it too. They love it when people are also very interested in like the little details. At the end of the day, Thai food is still very foreign in a way. And I think that's also what has inspired me to create this cookbook. You know, I've done cooking classes. I've done a lot of cooking videos, because people often come up to me personally and they'll tell me, Nikky, Thai food is so hard to make. You know, it's so complicated. They use all these different ingredients. I'm like, actually, it's not. I have figured out a way to create amazing, authentic flavors that I grew up in Thailand when I was growing up, to be able to use the raw materials and ingredients that I can find here in the States, and for you to be able to make it in, most of the time, it's 10 ingredients or less, depending on how many different vegetables you want to put in. And like 3 to 5 steps. Super simple. You know, we're busy. We want to feed our kids something fun and exotic. At the same time, we want it to be easy. And that kind of really inspired this whole realm of going into the cookbook and sharing the love of cooking and the food, and, you know, just talking about, if I was in that discussion, I would be like, I would love for you to call it makgud, lime leaf. That's the Thai word for it. And yeah, there's a whole thing about that. So we need to resurface that conversation, and I want to be a part of it at the restaurant.
Yeah, right. So how did you guys research what was going to go into the book? Are these your favorites? Are they new recipes, or what made the cut? I'm sure there was probably more than you could.
No, yeah, that is an awesome question. So the book was originally created, and still is, a dedication to my kids, my real ones, my 2 children. And I have like a whole dedication page, like, you know, I've dedicated to Knox and Sky here, and like the reason why I made this book. It truly is because I wanted to kind of document my story while it's still fresh in my mind. And there's like 53 recipes in here. They're all the classics that we actually serve in the restaurant. And there actually are a few non-Thai desserts in there, because from my American side or my Texas side, I have non-Thai desserts that my kids also love. So we put those in there. So it's kind of like my life. But I wanted to document also these recipes for them, because, you know, right now they're teenagers. They're 15 and 10. And they know that I'm doing the book. They love it. They've cooked with me during COVID. But they just now learn by doing. For me being able to document it, it makes me think of like, okay, now that both of my grandmothers have passed away, a great-grandmother also on my Thai side is, you know, I wish I had these recipes all in a book. I went and, you know, took pictures of all those recipe cards, and I have them in my phone, but I'm like, wow, how amazing it would be if it was just all in one place that they can share also, you know, with their family and friends as they grow up. Because so many people tell me all the time how much it really feeds their family, and being able to share that is really important to me.
I'm interested in the timing of the book. I mean, I can see, because I have obviously kids that age too, and what they need from me is slightly different. And I wonder too, as far as long as you've had the restaurant, like I've noticed you add the videos in the restaurant, and then the travel tours, and now it seems like you're able to write this book. But is it you needing to create, or also needing to reinvent to keep the brand fresh? Because I mean, 20 years is an amazing time as a restaurateur. There's so many restaurants that, man, they don't make it, and you're striving and growing.
I honestly, if you told me 20 years ago that I would be what I'm doing today, I would not believe it. And this whole idea with the cookbook and the sauce line and all the things that we've created, the trips that you mentioned, it actually came out of a lot of requests from our customers. And I listen, and I've learned also as an entrepreneur, like, you know, you don't have to go and, like, the answers are always right there for you if you're listening. And they often, and you know what the funniest thing with the book though, now that I have it, so many of my regulars would come up to me and say like, well, it's about time. And I'm like, oh, really? You never told me that you It's so funny. So all about reinventing. I think the restaurant, Asian Mint, right? 20 years. We're known for, like you said, our consistency, our value, our fresh ingredients, and who we are. I get to be creative still, but not really so much to the extent that I want to be. So I created the Chef Nikky brand around like 2019. And I'm like, okay, the restaurants are doing great. I'm more in charge of the business development, finding new locations, making sure, the message is getting out there from the founder, the marketing, which I love, and connecting with my staff as well as the customers. But like, I want to do other things, but what can I do? So I decided, let me share my love. So I have kind of been toiling, like, what is the Chef Nikky brand all about? And a lot of my friends would tell me, like, well, you're a lifestyle brand. You do trips, you have books, you have sauce, you have experiences, you do cooking classes, you sell your earrings. And I'm like, oh, that's what a lifestyle brand is? Okay, well, let me lean into that and, just showcase my life, because I honestly am inspired every day, because people tell me that they are inspired by me. They would come into the restaurant. Back in the day, I would be sitting at the bar and somebody would come in, we'll start to chit chat, and they'll be like, Nikky, you really are inspiring. You love what you do. I can tell it in your eyes and your voice. And you have now inspired me to go find like my true calling.
Oh,
and
wow.
Just hearing that, it just continues to make me go, okay, what else can I do to inspire other people? And by being able to do that, when people come in, they get their souls fed, they get their tummies fed, and they walk out and be like, I'm going to go and change the world the way that I'm supposed to. I know that I've done my job on this planet. When I had my second child, which I knew was my last, my real one, she was a girl, and I was like, okay, I'm done with having kids. This is awesome. I have one boy, one girl. I'm good. But what kind of legacy, or what do I want to leave for them? And I want to leave the world in a better place. And I've learned that I can do that by creating happiness and joy, and do it through what I love to do. Like I can show you how to cook. I can show you how to play with makud, lime leaves, or lemongrass. And when people get to cook something that is a little bit out of their comfort zone, they also grow inside naturally. Be like, oh my God, I can do this. They would take the sauces and they would cook, our pad thai at home, and they would send me a text and be like, look, Nikky, I made pad thai for the first time, and I got to add this, and I add this from my refrigerator because I had that. I'm like that, and they just feel so proud. And when you're proud, you grow, and you're like, oh my God, I can do this. I can do anything, right? It's just those kind of little moments that I can share with other people just through food. I love a food.
Do you feel like that well, obviously I can tell how passionate you are and how much you like to give back. Do you feel like you had that as a female chef looking back 20 years ago? Were doors open for you, or were you literally like kind of kicking them in?
I think both. And if they were a little closed, I would continue to nudge. But I also take that as a sign, like, okay, maybe that's not the right door. Which other door do I need to open? That's such a good question. I love going with the flow. And anytime it is not in flow, I know that there's a lesson for me to learn. Sometimes they're very expensive. And that makes that really hit it home, right? I opened a concept in 2017-18, a different concept, and that was a really expensive lesson to learn. But I tried it, no regrets. It's one of those things, like, I want to try it. We're gonna have to spend some money, and it didn't work out. But I also learned what works and what doesn't work. So that was really, really fun. So yeah. Doors, you need to be hanging out with the right people and listen. And I feel like I do that pretty well. And I'm very hardworking. So when you hang around people who will give them their all, they work at 110% when they do something, it makes a difference. And I think people notice and they'll be like, okay, I would love to work with her. Let's figure something out. And it just kind of opened doors, so to speak.
Yeah. And I think probably I will be interested to hear about one of your closest partners and allies, because I was very interested to learn that you work with your husband. And that, there's this quote that comes to mind about husbands. They are the man of your dreams and the most irritating person you've ever met. And so working side by side as a romantic partnership and a business partnership has had to have been interesting over the years.
Yeah, interestingly, very hard, for sure. It is a daily challenge for me. At the beginning, for sure, oh my goodness, like the first couple of years, we kept stepping on each other's toes. And I think it took maybe like 2-3 years. And we realized I realized I need to stay out of his kitchen, like literally, like you stay in the back, I'm going to stay in the front. We can't be constantly making decisions together on every single thing. Like somebody has to have the autonomy of like, okay, if it's anything related to marketing, if it's anything related to front of house, operations, menus, anything like that, like I get final say, so to speak. But I'm always going to want his opinion because we're very different, right?
Mm-hmm.
Partners.
Mm-hmm.
It's the yin and the yang, the hot and the cold. And his opinions are very different from mine, but they're very valuable and very trustworthy. I will just go and do things, and he's more reserved and secure. Like, have you thought about this, 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 and this? And I'm like, of course not. Now I have to think about it. This is not fun anymore. What? I really have to think about the money part? No, thank you.
Right.
But he'll kind of like reel me in and like make sure like, okay, is this realistic? What are you doing? And, he's also has learned also to live with me. I can say I'm not probably the easiest person to live with either. And because I'm a go-getter. I just go and he's more like, tapping on the brakes. So it's not easy, but you have to have those hard conversations. I can tell you we probably have had like, for me, like those crying conversations heart to heart where I'm like, okay, we can't continue to be doing something like this. We really need to figure it out. And then when you do have those kind of conversations, which they should be happening more, I actually have been working really hard on it. And you need to have they call them like family meetings and dates, and you need to have them weekly. You have to make time for it. Have we been doing it for the past 5 months since the summer break? No, we have not. And it will start to build up. So you kind of have to make that a priority. And you just reminding me I probably need to set my next date.
Yeah, that's actually what we're doing right now is we're having that date here in Savannah.
Nice.
And it is, you're right, it is very important. Do you think there's a significance to, because you're at 20 years, you're like, okay, wow, 20 years has passed. 20 years as a chef, 20 years as a mother and a restaurateur and an owner and a creative. And you've got this cookbook. Are you now thinking about, well, what's next? Or are you still just in the moment of what you're doing?
More in the moment. But when we were putting this book together, I did talk to a lot of other authors, and they were the ones who were giving me ideas. And they were like, Nikky, wow, I'm so excited that you're doing this book. This is going to open so many doors. And I'm like, what do you mean? What kind of doors?
Yeah.
Like speaking engagements, you get to tell your story, channels that your restaurant can't get to. And I'm still exploring that as the book is launching. So I can't wait to see, who else kind of reaches out, what kind of ideas come out of this, who we're going to start reaching out to. But, I've never thought of this, but they tell me like you have an amazing story as a female entrepreneur minority, and you're like what you said, mom, entrepreneur, all of these hats that I wear, that your story can be shared like in corporate settings where people can hire you, or they buy like 500 books and you go and talk to their company to share your story, to inspire them to do something. And I kind of never really thought of it that way, but I've actually been to a lot of speaking gigs where they are book authors, right? And I'm like, I'm so excited. I'm going to get their book. I'm going to get it signed, get a picture, because I love their story. And I never really put that on my side to think like, oh, I'm actually going to be getting to do that now. I'm like, okay, now this is next level. And I'm like, okay, what do I need to do? How do I need to prepare? And how I'm going to tell my story. So getting to talk through my story in addition to just not having it written down is a whole nother ballgame. And I love it.
That's awesome. Well, because you self-published, did that give you more control over what went into it? And did you look at getting a publishing company?
Yes, we did.
Like?
So it was one of the hardest decisions, I can tell you that. And I probably shopped publishers twice, like at the beginning. So I didn't know this. Okay, lesson learned. If you do want a publisher, do not complete the book. Don't spend all the money, but do all the photos, have it edited. That's not what they want. They want a book proposal, which is something completely different. They just kind of want an outline of what your book's going to be about, some sample recipes. And I had already done the book. The book was done.
Oh.
And
they want to go in and change it and edit and put their influence and yada yada.
So the second time when the book was completely done, I met our friend Nina, and she's like, Nikky, can I please shop the book one more time? And I'm like, okay. So we took a little break and took a couple of months off, and she shopped the book. And meaning there were a few publishers who were interested, but every time they'll be like, oh, we want to change the cover. We need to go and re-edit everything inside. I'm going to change things up. And I'm like, I do not want to go through that process again. And like you said, I would, at the end of the day, would not have the control of what goes in. And I just felt like, okay, it's like stepping back like 5 more steps before I could step forward. And I was like, okay, let me just do this. A lot more of my research also, I found that 75% of people buy books on Amazon. And it is a lot easier. You don't need all those extra distribution channels. And also, I went with a company that could help me with the Amazon launch. But also, if I decide to have them also do distribution in a different way, how the publishers do, I can always do that as well. So they said, it's your first book. Let's try it this way. And if you want to expand to more, then we can always change that. And that was not available back in the day. I have recently met 2 amazing authors, book publishers who have 35 books under their belt. And they said, first of all, they asked me if I had a publisher. And I said, no, it's self-published. They're like, you know what? That's the route to do. That's what I'm doing with my next book. And I was like, whew. Yeah, that's just another confirmation, like this was the right decision, because it was a very, very, very hard decision. The book is really all about sharing my love. I want to share my story. I want to share my recipes. I want as many people as possible to be able to relate, get inspired, and cook for their family, for themselves, for their friends. And so I want to get the books in as many hands as possible, and then let the conversation go from there.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited to let my husband cook it, because he is the cook in our family.
I love it. You're going to get him all the sauces, get the sauce with the book. Great gifts for the holidays coming up.
That's the other thing. You guys do sauces, right? Which is, you have to think, simplifies the whole recipe. If you can just get the sauce, then you don't have to do the 20 ingredients that go in the sauce.
Absolutely. And it cuts time. a lot of, just talking about pad thai, it's the most popular dish. The sauce itself, you're going to have, well, I kind of simplified it. Let's say like 5, 6 ingredients, but they're not the super typical. Like you have to go tamarind paste or tamarind juice, and you're going to have to cook it down and reduce it to really get that nice, like caramelized flavor. And that could take another 20 minutes. That full recipe is in the book, but I also tell you like, or you can just get my pad thai sauce and like, put like 1/3 of a cup in there or something like that. So there are options for the people who want to really make their own sauce or not. And we want it to be flexible there because not everyone might have access. If this book gets to, I don't know, Australia, shipping a bottle of sauce might be a little bit harder than just the book. And I want them to also, not feel defeated and that they can make these recipes at home.
So smart, because now you're also marketing your sauces in the whole process of this creative endeavor. I'm so impressed by you. So if people want to find you and your book, what's the best way to do it?
ChefNikky.com would probably be the easiest. It will take you to everything: book, sauce, trips, YouTube channel. And please subscribe to my channels. I would love to hear from you. I actually respond to all my Instagram DMs. I'm doing much better on my YouTube comments. And because I want to hear from you. This is still a very, very new thing for me. And the more feedback that I can get, I'm like, hey, I really love this. I would love to see more of that. I want to learn more about this. That can also help inspire me to figure out, what other content to give to people who are truly interested. Everything that I've learned so far is just through talking to my mint fanatics, my customers, as well as through my cooking classes. And I definitely want to hear from you. Also, you can just go straight to Amazon and just search up Chef Nikky, Nikky. My book will come up and they'll be able to order it and get it like next day, which is pretty awesome.
Hey, awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you spending time with us today.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's an honor. And definitely we're going to have to meet up in the restaurant and have those conversations because I can't wait.
I love it. Okay.
Isn't she so amazing? I just love her. Some of my favorites at Asian Mint: pineapple fried rice with chicken, the tom yum soup, I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, with coconut, so good, and the tuna tower, just to name a few. I really want some of those earrings too. They're pretty amazing. And now our discussion on how insurance works. So you may have heard that we have Geico now, which is pretty amazing. They opened it up for independent agents. And it's great to have a carrier that actually wants to write business in Texas. There's so many other carriers. We literally feel like we're doing jazz hands to get people covered. The catch on this, and this is something I would be aware of, is that the Geico only does auto. You don't want to unbundle from Safeco or Travelers and have your home there and your auto there. Farmers will cancel you if you do it. So reach out to us for options. We're happy to help you navigate. There's a lot of things out there that are changing constantly. So please utilize us. That's what we're here for. Thank you so much for spending time with us today. We appreciate it. Have a great rest of your week. Oh, it's so good.